Hey everybody, please stop saying we're cooked. We're not cooked. We are very far from cooked. In fact, I think there's a vibe shift happening where soon we will be the ones doing the cooking and not just in the comment section. This is Ben, a secular progressive homeschool dad in Virginia. Today's Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Not getting in my cardio, but I just want to encourage people, when you see a genuinely distressing headline or a news report about something that Trump and the rest of the GOPSs have done, are doing, do intend to do, follow that story, follow it, see how it plays out. Look at past stories that were extremely alarming and see how they have resolved. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to see that they are or have already fizzled out. Deploying troops to Portland, to Chicago, even in DC and LA. These things have been rapidly de-escalated. Folks from this administration are getting fired, not in nearly enough quantities as we would like, but it is happening. And don't you worry, when we're on the other side of this, there's going to be a truth and reconciliation movement and an anti-corruption reform that is going to see a lot of these folks receive their comeuppance. So rather than saying you're cooked and being despair, maybe being in despair, maybe hold on to the thought of what justice will look like for these ghouls in the future. But that's not just bluster. I'm saying read better news. Look past a headline. And I'll be talking about some of those in some videos to come if I get a chance. But, look at Heather Cox Richardson. Follow Park Rose Permaculture. Follow Hawk. Watch The Majority Report. Trans Loving Mama. There are lots of other sources that you can look at to see how this stuff is playing out. Follow The Intercept. There's a lot of excellent reporting on how this regime is deeply, deeply unpopular. And you can feel it. Look at your neighbors. Look at your friends. See what's going on. And look at the resistance movement that is developing, that is growing. These folks in power, these guys are bullies. They have no plan to govern. They have a plan to rule. The GOPOSs want to rule. They do not want to govern. Okay? And we don't do that here. Okay? So take heart, keep your chin up. And I am sympathetic to that kind of fatalism, that kind of LOL, we're cooked, when you read something that is genuinely distressing, something that could be bad. But I really encourage you to look into it more, get more serious about the news that you're consuming, and also develop a posture of skepticism and fortitude. For God's sakes, have a fraction of the intestinal fortitude, the will, the courage, the bravery of marginalized communities that have been in this country for 250 years, who have pushed back, pushed forward, and endured worse shit than what is going on right now, okay? So stiffen your spine. And I understand that just jumping to the conclusion, that's it, we're all done, we're all fucked. There is comfort in that. I understand that, because if there is no ambiguity, if there is no ambivalence about the future and about what is going on right now, and precluding and foreclosing all your options for action, then you can just be somewhat content in doing nothing. But we are so far from being cooked, folks. There are tons of things for you to do. I really hope to talk about that in a future video as well, but it's tough for me to get these videos made with my schedule. But fight harder, because there's a vibe shift happening. You can feel it. You can feel it. I honestly think the tide is turning. I'm not saying there aren't going to be setbacks, but I'm saying that realistically, the overwhelming majority of Americans, and I need you to hear this, do not like what this administration is doing. They do not want what this administration is doing. And as their lives and the lives of those they love is further shitified, to borrow a phrase from Cory Doctorow, people are waking up. Even if you're a casual politics person or someone who doesn't pay attention to any of that stuff at all, you are feeling it, you will feel it, and you will see opportunities to push back and to change this. So don't give in to the comfort of thinking that you can do nothing. Helplessness, apathy, those are the bedfellows, those are the best friends, and the comforts of despair. Activism, activity is the enemy of despair. Get involved. I will post more about this when I get a chance, but go to a No Kings March coming up on October 18th. Look for other ways to get involved. Work with Surge, work with 5051 movement. Phone bank for a politician representing views that you like and that opposes this stuff. They don't even have to be in your state. You can phone bank for folks anywhere. I'll talk about that in a future video as well. But my major point is stop saying we're cooked, because you're wrong. We are not cooked. In fact, in a lot of ways, some of us who fear that we are being cooked are just getting started cooking, okay? We're not cooked. In fact, we're getting ready to be the ones who are cooking. Stay informed, follow better news, stiffen your spine, stand up for yourself, stand up for those you love, and stand up for future generations, because when we are on the other side of this, and I can see the other side of this a lot more clearly now than I did 9 months ago, we are potentially positioned for a lot of good to come from it, and a lot of significant changes that we couldn't have imagined occurring on the political horizon. Okay? Stop saying we're cooked. We're not. One quick addendum about not being cooked. Especially if you look like me or similar, you are very far from being cooked. Okay? You're very far. But if you are black, or you are brown, or you are an LGBTQ community member, especially if you are trans, you're not cooked, but you are in danger. It is a very real and present danger for so many of you. You folks do what you can to stay safe, okay? We'll get more folks who look like me to do more of the heavy lifting here, okay? So I definitely want to say that. I'll talk about a friend of a trans child in another video. But if you look like me, you're very far from being cooked, okay? If your kids look like me, hopefully they don't look that bad. They are very far from being cooked, okay? And also, if you're a dude, do better. Do better. I cannot tell you, watching footage of protests and rallies, watching speeches by people who resist this, attending organizing meetings, online, in person, seeing all sorts of folks behind the scenes working to resist all this, folks who are getting smart, getting organized, getting other people's shit together and helping us be more effective. 90% of the leaders in these scenarios are women. Women seem to be the ones doing virtually all of the heavy emotional lifting that is required to navigate this moment. And you know, I see all these guys, especially where I live, you know, with Gadsden flag bumper stickers, and I imagine they have Gadsden flag bedspread and curtains and underwear, you know, like they've decked out their, you know, their NASCAR room because they're big boys. These guys are all silent about the numerous violations of the Constitution that are going on right now, because they don't really believe any of that shit. They just want to oppress other people, okay? And if you are in one of those very legitimately oppressed communities, do what you can to stay safe, even if that means get out. I'll talk more about that later. Get better information. Calm down, regulate your emotions, and it's going to be okay. We are going to get through this. Okay? I'll talk to y'all later. My shirt today is bruh, read a book. And I'm still reading Ibram X. Kendi's How to Be Anti-Racist. I haven't touched that book in like a week and a half. Just got too much going on with homeschool and other things. All right. Catch you cats later. Take care.